this video, we're going to talk about help text, alerts, and little snippets of help text that you can show on your page to help your users understand what the next steps they need to do to help your organization get data completion and get the right data into your Salesforce. We're starting on a simple account record, and on this account record I've got one component here, which is my indicators component. You can get the indicators component from my GitHub page, indicators, or my wiki. So the link to the wiki is here, and you can see all of the examples about how to use it and lots of different options that it's got. So one of the things I've set up here is that it's got, if there is a platinum, if there is an SLA, it'll tell me the SLA level in this second indicator, and it tells me there's an SLA in place. So as we go through here, the indicator should change based on some different values on the record. The other component I have here at the moment is a really handy little component, and all it does is put a scroll bar on your chatter. So especially if you've got an organization that uses chatter really well, and most of my clients are like that, this really helpful because if you've got a number of other components on the page, it sort of helps to limit chatter to one section. So when I lay out my pages, I like to have my details, my related, my files. I've been through the files tab in my previous video. And then I like to have everything that's really important up over here in the top right hand corner. So anything that's going to be popping up as they need it, it's going to happen in the right hand corner. So this is why the indicators are in the top right hand corner. So at a glance, you can see what is going on with this record. So the very first thing when we think about how to help users get their data into Salesforce correctly, we think about validation rules. Of course, we've got help text, and we can enter in some help text to sort of help them when they hover over it. Now, just note that in Winter 21, the help text is going to be very dark grey. It's going to stand out a lot more. It's an accessibility feature. So if you have a look at a pre-release org now or a sandbox, you'll see the different darker help icons. But the very next thing we want to do is have validation rules. So I'm going to make an issue here. So I'm going to enter a type and a renewal date. And then I get a validation rule error. So it says, this validation rule is not particularly useful. Your renewal date must be more than a year away. So validation rules is what we know, but there's a couple of problems with validation rules. One is that it stops the user going forward. This may not be a particularly awful error that has to stop us from going forward. If we have validation rules, then sometimes they'll just put in a garbage value just to get past the validation rule, and we really don't want that either. And the other point with validation rules is they're fine until we have a flow that interacts with the record and captures that validation rule, and then the error is just this big ugly red thing on the page, which no one can actually see the actual validation message inside the error. They just say error, 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 Jody, fix it, fix it, fix it. So without the ability to have a flows and process builder work with validation rules well, I tend to find I'd try and do other things other than validation rules. So let's try a couple of other things of what we can do. I've entered in my the type and the renewal date, and it's come up with an indicator at the top telling me that there is an error with the renewal date. Now I could get a lot more smarter with an error message, so it's not particularly a great thing because it doesn't tell me exactly what the issue is. It just says there's an error. Okay, but what is the error? So I've just got a lot of components that are hidden behind different fields. So I'm just going to change different fields as we go. So what I've done here, I've created a formula field that has the error message depending on the different values on the record. And I've got some emoji in that. It's a bit ugly, but we're just trying to show you the different options that you can do. So with this sort of way we can do things, we can customize the error message that might be displayed. Here I'm showing this error message in a related record component and just showing that error field there on this related record component, which has got the same icon as the account record because it's a field on the account. Now just know that when we get dynamic forms on accounts, or if you're using a custom object on account, you could put this field right below here. But that would mean it's not particularly useful. Like at the moment, I've just got this generic error and I could use it for all sorts of different errors. Now, I don't actually do this. It's just a way of trying different things. I'll show you what I do more so. So this is one of the things that I do, which is just a nicer way of showing that. And this is just a rich text field. This is not coming from the field value. This is just a rich text field that I can put in as much text as I like. And I put a big red error symbol there. And I then conditionally show or hide that error based on the field value of that error. So I still need a field to control it, that there is an error. But then I've got this field value there to show, hey, you've got an issue. Now, it might not be error, it might be warning, or it might be, some other thing to say, hey, alert, there's something not quite right here. So with the idea of the rich text component, you've got the ability to do images. You can do GIFs if you want, but please don't do GIFs. And of course, there's emojis there too. But getting onto the App Exchange, there are a whole lot of different components on the App Exchange that are free that you can use to sort of help give you much more rich alerts and error messages on your records. So let's have a look at a few of them. So here's a warning toast message, and this toast message is got a warning symbol. It's a standard SLDS icon and look and feel, and then it's got the value of the field, the error field. So exactly the error field that I showed over here, it's got that value of the error field in the toast message. This toast is then, it doesn't go away. You can set toast to be automatically go away, but then this one is like you have to actually action it to say, yes, I agree, I understand that it is, there is an issue here. So where I use these types of error messages is for integration errors. When I've got something going across to another system and it happens asynchronously, but they then need to know that there's an issue, I will usually send a notification. So a notification pops up here to say, hey, there's an issue. And as soon as they go to the record, the error appears on the record as a toast. So let's try another one. So this is one that is dismissible. So we'll reload that one again. It's not dismissible. It's automatically goes away. Okay, but this is also the one that's got the value from the error field and automatically goes away. So it's just a different way of looking at the two different toasts, that one goes away and one doesn't. So you've got those options, and you've got the options to have the different symbols and the different text values in your alerts. Okay, so what if that is not enough? Let's try this one. It's got sound also. Now, this is going to display on every single time you open the account, and it's got the error message, sound. So I don't know about you. I think I'd be pretty annoyed about that. But if you really need to get your alert happening, then that might be useful. The sound is really annoying, and it is, not particularly useful. I don't particularly like it. Okay, so let's get rid of our errors, and see our indicator then goes away there. Okay. The other thing I use these different alert options for is to have like a message on the page. So this one is a Labs app, and it's called Lightning Messaging Utility, and it's so flexible, and it's it's really quite good. It's got the icons from the SLDS icons. It's got a title. It's got just text. This is just actual free text that's entered into this icon. Now, it doesn't look particularly great here. I still prefer it sort of over here because it's just got this extra space around it. But there is just, this app is actually so good that it's got so many different customizable options. So we've looked at then 4 or 5 different alerts here. So I've listed them all on this help page, and I'm going to put the link to the help page on the video. So there's this Lightning Message Utility, Cloud Rebels, Alerts, Notify, and Pop-ups. The pop-ups one is the one with the sound. Okay, and pop-ups is also very customizable. Notice as soon as I go onto the page, that sound happens, right? So the very first thing that we are going to do is turn off that sound, because it just keeps sounding every single time we want to edit the thing. So this is the Lightning Messaging Utility. So this is type alert, prompt, illustration. So a lot of these have similar settings. So and it's got, do we show the message or not? Do we allow it to be closed or not? We can set it to be 50% width. Don't think that's particularly nice looking. And again, we've got the title and the body. Yeah, so this one I really like just for bigger bits of text that I want to actually put into the message body. And it's got the different options here, as we saw. And I can show the icon or have it left aligned. I can put in the icon name from the SLDS icons. If you don't know what that is, just Google SLDS icons, and you can see there all of the different icons, and my indicators components uses these icons also. And these are the icons that go into the messaging utility. You've got icon size, and icon alternative text, illustration if it's an illustration, and yeah, so that's a really flexible messaging utility. So this one here is the rich text, so it's just rich text, and I've just typed in rich text. You can't have rich text have a field value in it, so that's one of the limitations, whereas these other messaging utilities can have field values. So this is the pop-up one, the one with the sound, and each one of these that allows field values has a different way of entering the field. So just go back to the documentation and have a look at it. This one's also got an expiry date. We can have all of these different types of toast. The toast is whether it's the mode of the toast, how long it stays for there. And this one's interesting that it can display on record save if it's got this criteria, or you can use the component visibility. So this is the Cloud Rebels alert message. This is the first one I used, and it's actually just really straightforward, simple. So it's got this is the toast mode sticky, which we set. Duration 5 seconds. The field name that it comes from. Again, this is probably the most straightforward one. I quite like this one. Record alert is the one that is from Notify. And again, type of warning, type of alert, field value, pretty basic. I just like this Cloud Rebels one first. It's the first one I used. So that's all of the different types of alerts. So the next thing you might want is to display little snippets of help text, where it's just not an alert, it's not an error, but it's just sort of guiding the user through what needs to happen next. So one of the simplest ones is just having some rich text. So here's some rich text. I've used this in place of a client script, call script. I've used a simple rich text field like this because they had to just fill in the details in the page, and they could just edit the page and fill in the details as they went through the call script itself. So here I've just got some tips as to how to get more out of it, and I've got a link to my Confluence page for any more information. This component I really like. It's called Helpful Links component, and it's another Lightning LWC component. I used some of the basics of this for my indicators component, and it just really helps you to display links to help documents that might be particularly valuable for that record on the page. So this could be any type of document. Again, it uses the SLDS icons, so it uses all of these document types. So if you've got the documents that you want to display as one of these types, this might be a nice option to have. So I've got a Google Help Doc, a Word Help Doc, and a Quip Doc. So for me, if your users are using Google, this is the cheapest, simplest way of just getting the help docs visible, is to write the help documents in Google. If you come straight to this, and they can edit that help documents straight away, and you've got the full history text. I like the idea of having my users to be able to edit the help documents as they need. If you are using SharePoint or Office 365, again, you could link directly to the SharePoint document, the Word document, and again, if they're logged in, they can edit the document directly. And Quip is a great tool, but really, unless you've got the full version of Quip with the integration with Salesforce, it is difficult to use. So, but I like Quip just for even just writing help documents. So I think my top one is Confluence, then Quip, then Google, then very last Word. But I will use whichever tool my clients have, depending on which systems they have got. So again, this is a really nice little component that is lovely to use. Now, another way of displaying files is this component from Box. Now, I don't particularly like it, but I just needed to include the option there for you. And the issue with this is that these two box components I'm showing you, is that they're only available as a shared link. So you have to have the content in Box and create a shared link. Those long links like the help documents, the Google Doc links, this long semi-secure links. They're still public documents, but they're just a very long link that no one's really going to guess. So you still have to have that type of a link with the Box documents. And there's no way to modify this component to turn off all of this other information. Maybe if you use Box, this might be useful, but again, all of these documents can be uploaded either as PDF files, again, Word files, and you can also use the HTML content that is part of the Box system. The second Box component, I don't mind that much. This is a way to embed a full document on the page. So there's no way to embed a Word document, or embed the Google document, or embed a Confluence page inside Lightning, like without custom development, of course. There is with Quip, if you've got the full Salesforce license for Quip. So this is like the cheap version. Again, it is done via shared URL. You just type the URL into the component, and this shows you all of the page content. So this can be, again, PDF, Word document, all of the HTML content that you produce in Box. So I don't mind this. Again, this is if you really want to have a really lot of content that's right at their fingertips, but I still like the little links component, helpful links component that sort of links across to the documents. Now, there's a couple of other ones that are a bit I don't know, bit different. So this one here is a app on the App Exchange called Guide Me. And I haven't set these up very well, so you just have to bear with me on this one and sort of imagine how it could be. So this is by 7 Summits, and you can't get rid of that branding. And you can have links to the document. So this is like a little carousel. You can have like 6 steps where you can have different steps to go through all of the details. There's a couple of different ways this can be displayed on the page, but it's like you can't put you can put a link to the document. You can't put a lot of text on here. Okay, so I'm just not sure about the value of this particularly. And this one is really interesting. Did you notice this popping up here? Now, I think that if you're interested in this, I think you've got to go in and have a really in-depth look at this product. And this is going to be if you have got someone on board who is going to be creating this content in depth and really using this tool to its greatest extent. I have not set it up very well. So this is it comes in 3 different flavors. One's got the carousel like that last one. One's just got a component here. You can have the help text to sort of go through a component if it's sitting here, or it could go on another tab or something like that. And this other one is called the floating text one. And it comes up as a modal, and you can have images, and this is like a very hierarchical structure of your content. So you've got different content that can be displayed on the account page. So you can have all sorts of different content bits, and then different steps in each of the tips. And then within the tips, you have images and pictures. Now, this is free if it's just text-based. And images. If you want to have videos or documents or files linked to this help content, it does cost, and it says it starts at $1,000 per US per year. So again, really interesting one. I don't think I would use it because I just want to be able to quickly create a help document with maybe some links to Trailhead and some images. I'm never going to be able to take that time to be able to create that sort of content for my clients. So then just another couple of ones. This is the pop-ups product again. So again, I've got my homepage and it pops up. Again, this is the modal type, and we can have all sorts of different rich text in here, images, hyperlinks, etc. You've got the URL here, do your timesheets. But just remember, if you're doing something like that on the homepage, I can always set my account page to homepage and really never go to the homepage if I don't want to. So there's a fine line between being informative to your users and being really annoying. So as I said, I really like just writing my help documents in whichever platform my clients use. So one of the places that I can surface them is like on the utility bar. So if you have upgraded from Classic to Lightning and you haven't upgraded or created new Lightning apps, then do so, because then you get the utility bar. And the utility bar can have all sorts of different helpful utilities, and you can do things like popping them out, and so they could be on a second screen if you wanted to. So here I've just got the links to the 3 Google Word and Quip documents, exactly the same as everywhere else. But again, you can have whatever rich text you like. As a tip, if you create that HTML content in an Aura component or an LWC, you'll be able to embed that component inside the rich text component on the utility bar, so you can have exactly the same content in different apps. At the moment, you would have to copy and paste that content to different apps to have it in the different utility bars on the different apps. There's no sharing of utility bars between apps, which is a bit of a pain. But there is a way around that with creating I'm pretty sure it's Aura component. I don't know whether it's LWC also works that way. Okay, so the other option, which is a cheap and cheerful option, is to just put links to your help documents in the help and training section in the top, but remember you can only see 2 links there. So I just remembered that there is a feature in Winter 21 regarding in-app guidance and help menu. And it says you can specify up to 30 resources to the help menu. It doesn't say that you're going to get more than 2 there. But I just went on a bit of a journey because it did say that you will be able to put in-app guidance into your help menu. So videos or in-app guidance. But can't see how you actually do in-app guidance in this current one because it's just a URL, and there actually is no in-app guidance like URL to it. So I don't know how you do it, and it doesn't seem to be in Winter 21 also. So not sure if that's just an issue with the release notes or something pretty exciting to come through, because the very next thing I was going to show you is in-app guidance. And one of the major issues with in-app guidance is that people can dismiss it. I don't know why it's not showing up. The main reason I can't see it is because I have completed it. My user has completed it. So let me just clone it, see if we can get it working again. So this is absolutely the main issue with in-app guidance, is as soon as they complete it, they will never see it again. So here is the in-app guidance. I don't know why it didn't pop up then. So let's try going back to our account page. Can't get it working, but we saw that it pops up. You can dismiss it. Once you dismiss it, once you complete it, you'll never see it again. Okay, what I did is I completely closed the window without saving it, which is exactly what I did 3 times already before. So, okay, so I love in-app guidance particularly for showing new features when you just need to alert them to new features. But I probably wouldn't even attempt to do any form of help documents with in-app guidance, because it takes a lot of work, and it is just the fact that I can dismiss it without even thinking. I would still just prefer to put icons in the help menu, or links in the help menu, or links in the utility bar. Okay, but there is some interesting features in Winter 21 that I wanted to show you. So this is a component that comes in Winter 21, and it's called Launchpad. Now, I think it's really designed for mobile because it's pretty ugly, but you can put the component on any Lightning page. So what it does is it basically does links to tabs inside of Salesforce. So I've got links to files, links to another custom object, and I've got a link to a help document. So this is something you can actually do anyway in Salesforce generally, is you can have a tab of your Google Docs content, or your SharePoint content, or your Box content. You couldn't just have a PDF document, but if it's a document that's in HTML that's accessible, then you can have it there. So I really like this option. There used to be I've got some details in here about a way you used to be able to do we still can create some HTML pages that you've got links between them, save them as a static resource, and create a custom tab to view that static resource. And I really actually like that option, but just creating the web tab with a link to the Google Doc is a really nice option also. So especially when all your users are Google Docs users and they're logged in and they can edit the document, it feels like they're editing the help menu, the help document directly in Salesforce because it's in a tab. So that's actually really quite useful. I really like that. So not sure about this Launchpad component. I think it's a little bit ugly. It might be good for mobile, so you might be able to just display it on mobile only. And that might be a good way to just show the help content on your mobile app. So one last one I want to mention to you is Spekit. And Spekit is now free for up to 10 users. Now, if you go to 11 users, you have to pay for 11 users. So just remember that if you're growing, that you're going to have to pay for it eventually. But have a look at their video. I've got a link to their video, their demo video. It's really compelling. Again, with a product like this provides links within your Salesforce to pop-up content based on names. So you set up a document for account, and then you're on the account record, and you've got to hover over the Spekit icon next to the name account, and it shows you a little pop-up with help text or videos. Really, really great looking product. Fabulous that it's free. It's again just going to take a lot of work for your users to set up, to modify, to maintain. Okay, so don't delve into something like this until you've got someone as a full-time resource, almost, either, you know, someone who's dedicated to updating your help documents. So apart from that, if it's just, you know, you want people to get engaged and help to modify your help document content, a simple Google Doc that is surfaced in Salesforce, or a simple Word document that is surfaced in Salesforce. I think the Google Doc looks better, but it depends on what you've got. Then maybe that's enough. So I encourage you to look through all of the other options that I've listed in the in my page, and I've got all the links to all of the things that I've showed you. And just know that these alerts are fabulous, free components. Rich text on its own is fabulous. And I think really just going with some help documents in tabs, or help documents in links from your utility bar or your help icon, is probably one of the simplest ways to getting some really good help content in your org. So I really hope that helps.